little ones. Welcome to FunFaith Kids TV. Long ago in Egypt, God's people lived under a harsh ruler, the Pharaoh. Fearing their strength, Pharaoh made a cruel law. Every baby boy born to God's people must be taken away. It was a time of fear and sadness, but God was still watching over his people. In one small house, a baby boy was born. His mother, Jochebed, loved him fiercely and prayed for his safety. She and her family trusted God, even when they didn't know what to do. They made a secret plan: hide the baby from Pharaoh's soldiers. For 3 months they kept him hidden, singing him lullabies and whispering prayers. His sister Miriam watched over him, loving her brother deeply. Every day was scary, but their faith in God's promise gave them hope. Jochebed believed God's love was stronger than any rule. With each sunrise, their trust in God grew. They believed God had a special plan for their baby. They just had to be brave and wait. The family clung to hope, love, and God's promise. Even in darkness, they trusted God's power. Their secret plan was an act of courage and faith. They waited, believing God would make a way. The story of Moses was just beginning. The baby's cries grew louder, and Jochebed knew she couldn't hide him much longer. She prayed for guidance, and God gave her a brave idea. She would make a basket, a tiny boat, to keep her baby safe on the river. Jochebed gathered reeds, weaving them tightly with love and hope. She sealed the basket with tar to keep the water out. With tears, she wrapped her baby in blankets, kissed him, and placed him in the basket. She set the basket among the reeds of the Nile, trusting God to protect him. Miriam, the baby's sister, watched nearby, ready to help. The basket floated gently, a symbol of a mother's love and faith. Miriam hid, keeping her eyes on her brother, determined to protect him. She was brave, trusting God was watching over them both. The river carried the basket, but God guided its path. Jochebed's heart ached, but her trust in God was stronger than her fear. Miriam waited, watching and hoping. The family's faith was their strength. The basket was more than a hiding place. It was a promise. God's care surrounded the baby, even on the river. Miriam's courage and Jochebed's love worked together. They trusted God's plan, no matter how uncertain the future seemed. The sun sparkled on the Nile as Pharaoh's daughter, the princess, came to bathe. She noticed the basket among the reeds and sent her helper to fetch it. Opening the basket, she found a beautiful, crying baby. The princess's heart was moved with compassion. She realized this was a Hebrew child, one her father's law threatened, but instead of fear, she chose kindness. "I will save him," she whispered, deciding to protect the baby. The princess didn't know how she'd care for him, but she knew she must. God had guided the basket to her at just the right moment. The baby's cry changed her heart, and she saw him as a treasure. The princess's choice was an act of courage and love. She defied fear with compassion, ready to give the baby a new life. God's plan was unfolding, using even the Pharaoh's family for good. The princess's kindness became the answer to Jochebed's prayers. The baby was safe and hope was restored. God's timing was perfect. The princess's heart was open to love. Moses' journey was now in royal hands. Miriam watched as the princess found her brother and decided to save him. Seizing her chance, Miriam bravely approached the princess. "Shall I find a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby for you?" she asked. The princess agreed, not knowing Miriam was the baby's sister. Miriam ran home, her heart bursting with joy. She told her mother, Jochebed, the wonderful news. Jochebed hurried to the river, where the princess entrusted her with the baby. "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you," the princess said. Jochebed's sorrow turned to joy. Her prayers had been answered. She could care for her son openly, under the princess's protection. Moses was safe, and their family was reunited. God had turned fear into happiness. Jochebed could now love and nurture her child without fear. The family's faith had been rewarded. God's plan was greater than they imagined. Moses would grow up safe, loved by both his family and the princess. Their courage and trust in God brought them back together. The story of Moses' rescue became a story of hope. The story of baby Moses shows God's love in action. Even in scary times, God is always working for good. Jochebed and Miriam were brave because they trusted God. God used their love and courage to save Moses. His love is strong, carrying us through hard times. God can use anyone, family, even a princess, to show his care. His plans are always better than we can imagine. This story reminds us that God watches over us too. When you feel scared or alone, remember Moses in his basket. God has a special plan for you, just like Moses. He will never leave you. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God goes with you. Deuteronomy 31:6.